tell us the story about the connection between Michael and Janet and them being in the studio together to create that amazing record, Scream.
Yeah, so it was interesting because can't remember if Michael called personally, but maybe it's probably one of his people called and said, Michael wants to do a song with Janet and whatever, are you guys down for that? And we were like, yeah, of course we are. But then we were like, but let's find out if Janet's cool with it, because we didn't want to be, because we were always ride or die with Janet.
Yes.
There was a lot of female artists that we turned down working with back in the day, kind of, who were sort of her peers.
Yeah.
That we just didn't. We just were like, no, can't do it. So anyway, when we got the call and Janet said, no, that's fine, that's fine. She said, to me, it's my brother's record. I'm just guesting on it. And I said, okay, cool. So when we started doing the tracks for the song, we had her come up to Minneapolis and we just said, she said, what do you need me for? And we said, just sit here. We just need inspiration.
Right.
And we literally did, I think, 5 or 6 tracks that we thought all could possibly work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when we played the tracks, she said, I know the one he's going to like.
Right.
And we said, really? And she said, oh, yeah. I said, how do you know? She said, because I know my brother. It's like, okay. And she says, I hope the one he doesn't like is this one. And it was the one that ended up becoming Runaway for her. Because we love that. We personally love that song. And she was like, I love that, but I want that for myself.
Yes.
So
yes,
I was like,
yes,
okay, cool.
Yes,
Anyway, so we go to New York. He's working at Hit Factory.
Yep.
He's very mild-mannered and just kind of sits down and he says, okay, let's hear the songs. And we're like, okay, cool. And he blasts it. Like if there was, volume not supposed to go to 10, his went to about 15. It was like the loudest shit I ever heard in my life, right? So he's playing these songs. And after each song, he's like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. And then the next one comes on, right? So then we play the songs and then he goes, okay, can I hear number 2 and number 5 again? And those are the 2 songs, right? So he listens to number 2, he listens to number 5, and he says, okay, I really like them both, but I'm going to go with number 2. And number 2 was Scream, what ended up becoming Scream.
Crazy.
Right? And Janet just kind of looked at me like, I know what my brother likes. I know what he wants. Right? So anyway, the next day we go to his apartment, which was ironically in Trump Tower, penthouse at Trump Tower. Yep. And he's got the track, and he's already got. She's like, okay, what do we want to do lyrically? And he's like, just put this down. And she's on her laptop, right? And he just launches in, I'm tired of injustice, tired of the scheme. And she's like, okay, wait, tired of. She's like trying to write, and he's got the whole thing. And then we did that. We wrote her part. So then we're done. So I'm thinking, okay, next day we're going to go to the studio and record. So the next day we meet him at his apartment again, and he goes, okay, I just want to make sure we're really challenging ourselves to have every word correct. And we were like, every word sounds correct to me. Let's go.
Right.
But we have to challenge ourselves. Okay, fine. So we challenged ourselves for about 2 or 3 days. We challenged ourselves. We maybe changed one word, maybe. I don't know. I don't think we really did.
Gosh.
Anyway, we go to the studio to record. And this is right after he's gotten married to Lisa Marie Presley, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa Marie's at the studio, and her and my wife start talking.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael goes into the studio, and he's wearing all the wrong stuff to be in the studio. He's got like hard shoes,
stuff, yeah,
jangling stuff, all kinds of stuff like you don't wear in the studio because the microphone's going to pick up every bit of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember the engineer was there. It wasn't Bruce Swedeen. It was another guy that was just engineering the session. And I said, is this okay? And he said, oh yeah, it's fine. We were like, okay. So he walks in, and the idea was that, he's going to do his vocal, then Janet's going to go do her vocal, right? So he walks in and he just goes, hey, let's go ahead and run it. I'll put the headphones on and go, just make sure it sounds good. Okay, great. He launches into, we call it the Tasmanian Devil. When the music comes on, he starts spinning and dancing. No, it's like the full Michael Jackson performance.
Wow.
And Terry and I are sitting there like, we're screaming like little girls.
Right.
Michael Jackson. Like it was like crazy. and he hits tired of injustice,
Right.
tired of the scheme, and he sings the whole thing start to finish. It was like a blur. Song goes off. We're just sitting there frozen.
Wow.
And he goes, "How was that?" We're like, "Yeah, Mike. Yeah, that was good. That was good." He says, "You want me to do another?" Yeah, Mike. Do another take. Okay. Janet's back in the corner. She comes between me and Terry, and she goes, "I'll do my vocal in Minneapolis." She wanted no part of following that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
Yeah. It's
And to me, it was the most impactful. When I think of an impactful studio session, that was it. That was the most impactful studio session ever.
Amazing.
And the other thing too, I'll say, was Michael was very competitive.
Yeah.
So when he came in after he did his part, he came in and he said, "Jan, are you going to do your vocal?" And she said, "Michael, I think I'm gonna do my vocal in Minneapolis." And he goes, "Okay." So anyway, we go to Minneapolis. She does her vocal. She kills it. We send him the vocal. He goes, "Janet's vocal sounds really good." We said, "Oh, good. Glad you like it." He said, "It sounds really good." "Oh, good, Michael." "Where'd you record that?" I said, "In Minneapolis." He said, "I'm coming to Minneapolis." And he came to Minneapolis.
And did the same thing.
He did the same thing. But we didn't. The funny thing was, we maybe used 10% of that vocal is from Minneapolis. There was a couple of cleanup things.
Yeah.
But pretty much everything we got in New York. We got in the New York vocal, but he wanted to compete.
Hey, y'all, and that was On That Note. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, here's a couple more videos for you to check out. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.